Good evening, everyone. My name is Liza Gentile, and I'm the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations here at Johnson & Wales University and a proud alum. Thank you for joining us tonight for Sharpen Your Knife Skills. We're excited to bring you this program based on feedback from our alumni requesting this session. Before we get started, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items. Please keep your cameras on, but your mics muted. If you have a question, feel free to turn on your mic and ask. If you'd prefer, you can type the question into the chat and I will read it aloud. The chat feature can also be used to message other attendees and is located at the bottom of your screen. I'd now like to introduce tonight's presenter. Chef TJ Deladon, class of 2004 and 2007 with his MAT, cultivated his zeal for the culinary arts growing up in the Little Italy section of Wilmington, Delaware. Determined to make a career out of his passion, he enrolled at Johnson & Wales University's Providence campus, College of Culinary Arts. As a student, he obtained professional experience through his internship with award-winning chef Douglas Rodriguez, a visionary who is credited as the father of Nuevo Latino cuisine at the famed Alma de Cuba in Philadelphia. Upon his 2004 graduation, Deladon obtained a position as executive sous chef at the prestigious Hay Harbor Country Club on Fishers Island, New York. He returned to the university in 2005 as the assistant director of culinary events and personal chef to the university president. In 2010, he was promoted to director of culinary events and then to associate instructor and personal chef to the university chancellor. He is now assistant dean at the College of Food of Innovation and Technology. TJ was invited to cook at the famed James Beard House in New York City in the summer of 2014. That same summer, he was invited to execute a dinner for President George H.W. Bush's 90th birthday, as well as his wife Barbara's 1 year later. He also served as an assistant coach to the Rhode Island student culinary team, winning a gold medal and first place for the Northeast and second place for the national title. TJ is a contributing writer for Flavor and the Menu magazine and executive chef for its annual conference, Flavor Experience. He is also contributing writer for 41 Degrees North magazine, Yankee magazine, and dinnertools.com. He consults with multiple companies throughout the US, has guest lectured at MIT, Harvard, and the School for Tourism and Hotels in Portugal, where he was honored as the US representative at their annual Chef's Gala 10 Fest. He is also a certified executive chef through the American Culinary Federation. Please join me in welcoming Chef TJ Deladon. Chef, I'll turn it over to you to get us started.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Yeah, whoever's clapping, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate that. So thank you, Liza. It's always such a pleasure to do these virtual events with, or any event really with alumni relations. I'm a proud alum. Johnson & Wales has been so instrumental in my career, it's in my personal life. I owe so much to this university, and any chance I get to hang out with alum or to engage in this capacity, I jump at that opportunity. So thank you all for being here tonight. We certainly appreciate it. As Liza said, TJ Deladon, I'm the assistant dean here at the College of Food Innovation and Technology. For those of you that it may sound new or novel to some of you on the call, this is the evolution. In June of 2020, we've made that official step to the College of Food Innovation and Technology from the College of Culinary Arts. So the goal, and that we're really, the rubber's meeting the pavement as we speak, but our goal is to leverage our 40 plus years as a tower in culinary education and leverage that reputation and really move into all things food, all the vectors, all the places, all of the arenas where food plays a major part in our lives, and really think about it and look across our curriculum in some of our other colleges. It really is a comprehensive approach to what we're doing here. Food and health, just for an example, food and business, food and entrepreneurship, obviously hospitality, engineering, design, robotics. Food touches so many parts of our lives, and that's our goal here, and that's our mission at the College of Food and Innovation Technology. I am so proud to serve our faculty and to serve our other staff members, and of course our students here as the assistant dean. I'm actually in our hallmark lab at the College of Food Innovation Technology. Is the we call it the Fiddle, the Food Innovation Design Lab. I will do some panning with my close-up camera, and I'll make sure I get a nice panoramic shot of the kitchen. Beautiful colors in here, high ceilings, electrical drops from coming from about 30 feet above my head. Beautiful Heston ranges. We have induction, we have gas, we have turbo chefs, we have vacuum sealers, we have all types of stuff in here that really drives home this idea of culinary science, which is really the intersection of food science and culinary arts. And we have a robust, the biggest culinary science program and most successful in the country. So we're really proud of that. So I'm coming to you from the Providence campus here at the Fiddle Lab, and we're going to talk about knife skills tonight. You know, I had to sharpen up on my knives and my knife skills. So, I mean, I sit at a desk a lot of the time. Any chance I get to put my chef coat and my apron back on, I'm thrilled about that. But knife skills. So is there equipment out there? Are there pieces of equipment that can really help with slicing, dicing, and chopping? Absolutely. The thing that you bounce on the table, the chop it, whatever it's called. You got your Cuisinart, you've got food processors, you got your RoboCous, all types of fun things, buffalo choppers, whatever it may be. Obviously, there's tools. There's tools that are going to assist us with dicing, with slicing, with shredding. But when I think about knife skills, right, and I think about going out to eat, or I think about buying tickets to Grant Achat's show or Thomas Keller's show, I am, hoping, if not anticipating, that the chefs in the kitchen are doing this by hand. Right? Everything that's coming out, everything that's being put on the plate is done by hand. So when I say knife skills, it really is the mark of a chef. It is a skill that takes time. So I'll caveat that with, let's take our time tonight. If you're not comfortable with the knife in your hand, if you've never really cut julienne, cut mastodon, cut parmentier, all these big French terms, take your time, right? This is a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, obviously we only have about an hour together, but you're not going to master knife skills in one session with me. Okay. I wish I could snap my fingers and make that happen. I'd be the best educator in the world if I could make that happen. But I tell my students the same exact thing. When we approach the cutting board, we have to be, obviously first safe, second sanitary. So let's wipe down our stations. I've already done that with sanitizer, cleaned everything up, got my knives out. I've got my mise en place containers. I've got everything ready to go. I think that's the most important thing, is having everything in its place, or mise en place. Okay, it's another French term we use in the kitchen. But again, it's going to take practice. If you've never cut, if you've never really been on the board in this capacity, it's going to take time. It's like learning how to ride a bike. It's like learning cursive. Okay, we know that that just doesn't happen, again, the blink of an eye. Okay, so just stay with me. If you're cutting along, I'm going to kind of go in lockstep, and hopefully we can get this done, and I'm not going too fast. If I'm going too fast, I can hear you. I know there's rules, and Liza set those rules, but turn your microphone and say, "Chef, you're going way too fast." Okay, or type it in the text box, and Liza will tell me to slow down. Okay. I want to talk about the tools that I do have out, so you don't have 1,000 tools out in front of you. And I think these are the most important tools to have in your knife block, or have in your knife kit, or in your arsenal. Number one, your vegetable peeler. Okay. I remember my mom peeling everything with a steak knife. I don't know where she got that from, but I said, "Mom, you're throwing half the potato out." But she loved to use a steak knife to peel everything. I said, "Let's get yourself a vegetable peeler." Okay, this is to ensure that we're just getting the skin or the peel of the potato off the carrot, off the asparagus. Okay, it's designed to do that, just that. All right, so vegetable peeler, very important. A paring knife. Okay, a little paring knife. This is about 4 inches long. If you get to about the 6-inch knife, we start to call that a utility knife or a petty knife. Okay, but paring knife is small enough that we can do and use small skills. If that's mincing of garlic, if that's mincing shallot, we can tourne with a paring knife. There's another knife called a tourne knife, but small detail work. Okay, I'm going to be segmenting or cutting orange supremes for you tonight. You don't want to do that with a larger French knife or a big, or even a petty knife. Paring knife is where the small detail work comes into play. Okay, and then your French knife. Okay, I have about an 8.5-inch French knife here. I've seen French knives come out all the way up to about 11 inches, 10 inches, and even 8. Some chef knives are actually 6 inches long as well. Again, the size of your hand, the amount of work that you're doing, that's all going to determine what size French knife you want. I think 8.5 is perfect for me, and for the size cutting board, and again, my hand. All right, if you're a big guy, I'm not big. I'm Italian, and we don't get over 5'8", so I'm not a big guy. 6-inch French knife is going to be too small. It's going to feel like a paring knife in my hand. Okay, so we definitely 8.5 inches is good for me. The 10-inch knife, again, I think you need a lot of skill to use a larger French knife, and you're going to need a lot of confidence to use a larger chef knife. Okay, quickly, the parts of the knife. You've got your point or your knife tip. Okay, you'll hear that a lot. Just the knife tip here. You have the belly of the knife. Okay, that's the inside piece here. The edge of the knife. Okay, obviously where we do our cutting. You have the spine here. Okay, the heel of the knife, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, a lot of the times you'll see a recipe calling for the heel of the knife. Well, what would call for the heel of the knife, which is right here. Okay, cracking lobster. A lot of the times they use the heel of the knife, almost using this like a cleaver. Okay, using the heel of your knife to break something open. Obviously, we have our handle. Okay, this metal piece that runs through the handle of the knife is actually called the tang, like that delicious orange drink we had as a kid. Okay, T-A-N-G. It's called the tang. Okay, in between here we have the rivets. Okay, these little, not all knives have rivets in the handle, but these do. These are just to help bolster the tang to the handle. Okay, and I think that's about it. The butt of the knife, of course, but that's neither here nor there. So that's the parts of the knife. I think that's important, right? This is, as I tell my students, and when you're on the cutting board, this is an extension of your hand. This is a tool, right? This is your tool. So you have to maintain this knife. And when I say maintain this knife, it's not going to stay sharp forever. Okay. The more the knife is rocking on the cutting board, okay, the more dull it becomes. And what do I mean by dull? If under a microscope, if I were to look at this knife, there's teeth, there's little burrs of metal in the tip, in the edge of this knife, that start to go crooked and kind of flatten out. You actually wear those teeth and those burrs away. In the event that those burrs or those teeth, those metal teeth of the knife are worn away, we want to sharpen our knife. Okay, and sharpening is done on a stone. Whether it's a water stone called a whetstone, you'll see a lot with Japanese knives. My knife is Japanese, or tri-stone, which is usually lubricated with mineral oil. It's tri-stone because it's 3 sides to it. I actually have one back here. That's used for a harder steel knife, like a German knife. Okay, or a stone, a wheel stone. We have a gentleman that comes here on Thursdays to actually sharpen the students' knives, right? And there's a saying that I like to use. It's called sharp knife, sharp chef. Okay, sharp knife, sharp chef. Have to. This thing has to be a razor blade. You'll actually cut. You have sharper knife skills by far, and you're actually going to cut yourself less with a sharp knife. Why would that be? The knife's not going to roll off the potato. The knife, you're not going to have to jam it through the onion, and potentially, unfortunately, nick your fingers. Okay, you can still cut yourself with a dull knife, but a sharp knife, you're going to get much more precision out of your cutting. Okay, sharp knife, sharp chef. So when those teeth are kind of depleted, those teeth are gone, that's when we want to break out our stone and sharpening. Okay, there's another tool that's in our knife kit, and that's called a honing steel. Okay, a honing steel. And actually, if you take your steel out in your drawer at your house or in your knife kit, and you put your metal blade up to the steel, you actually hear it clinking and clanking. It's because it's a magnet. All right, and the steel does not sharpen your knife. Okay, I want to kind of get that misconception out of the way. The steel does not sharpen your knife. Those teeth and those burrs that I'm referring to, right? When they start to before they flatten out and go away, and when we need to sharpen our knife, they start to misalign. Okay, kind of like what my hands are doing. They misalign. So the steel and the magnet in that steel pulls the teeth of that blade and those burrs back in line. Okay, so the magnet actually helps, and you're running your knife over your steel one side at a time. Okay, careful if you're not too proficient with that. Okay, so steel and honing your knife is different than sharpening. So I wanted to get that kind of out of the way. Okay, holding the knife, in particular for the chef knife, this, if you have a good chef knife, this should be a scale. It should be perfectly balanced on my hand. Okay, I don't want to drop my knife because I don't want to break it. But when I hold it out like this, it should balance, meaning the body of the knife, the belly of the knife, and the tang and the handle should weigh the same, right? It should be balanced. Okay. Some knives are made of wood handles or bone handle or super, very heavy. Okay, so your blade is light. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for balance. So when I'm holding my knife, I want to hold it right in the center. Okay, I don't want to lock my hand around it like that. Okay, I want to hold it right here with my thumb and my index finger. Okay, right in the center of gravity. Okay, right there. Okay, that's where I want to hold my knife. Okay, there's going to be times when I'm going to need to bring my knife up off the cutting board, right? Think about a potato, think about an onion. Okay, I can't always keep the tip of my knife down. Okay, I can't always keep it on the cutting board. So I'm going to have to bring it up sometimes. Okay, and you'll see the knife is curved. So I'm going to talk about that as I'm going through also why the knife is curved. Okay, it's not a cleaver. Okay, we can certainly do that, right? We can chop that way, but we prefer to rock the blade. And as I do that, you can almost see what I'm talking about and how I can dull my knife out. Okay, but center of the knife, that's how I'm holding it. Okay, and then I'm with my index finger and my thumb, and then of course I'm gonna have a nice grip on the back side. Okay, we don't want the knife to slip. Okay, before we get into the cutting, approaching the cutting board. Okay, I don't want my hips kind of like, I guess, perpendicular to the cutting board. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to approach the board like this because that only kind of gives me my elbow to work with. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for, and I don't want to cut. We almost have a bullseye here or a target in our cutting board. It's rectangular. I don't want to cut towards this furthest corner. Okay, that's not the most efficient way to approach your board. Okay, so what I want you to do is stand at your board, put your right foot back. This is not the hokey pokey, I promise. Put your right foot back. Okay, if you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, put your left foot back. Okay, and then your opposite hip, I want that hip on the table or closer to the cutting board. Okay, so right foot back. Okay, and kind of like on the ball of your right foot. All right, your left hip should be closer to the cutting board. Now look where my arm is. Okay, I have full motion of my arm. Okay, I don't have this little half arm motion going. I have full motion of my arm. Okay, and I'm watching myself on the camera too, so you can actually see it. Okay, and I'm cutting directly to the top of my cutting board. Okay, I'm cutting to the top of my cutting board. All right, I have so much more, I guess, leverage that way. Okay, so again, don't stand there. That's lazy. Okay, don't lean. Okay, we don't want to see that in the kitchen either. Okay, again, sharp knife, sharp chef. So if you're sharp and you're ready and you've got your bag of onions to get through. Okay, move your foot back, approach the cutting board. Okay, everything straight ahead. Okay, your knife should be always straight ahead. Okay, that's going to help you. I promise when we're making these knife cuts to use the sides of your cutting board. You almost have a level, okay, right on your cutting board. You have a gauge. Okay, we can come right up against the cutting board and we can make 90-degree angles. Okay, so remember that. That's how I want you to approach your cutting board. Ball of your foot in the back of you, okay, and everything, your motion's moving forward that way. Okay, when I am cutting, guys, you've always heard the claw. Okay, the claw, right? You need to tuck your fingers. I'm going to go through this again, but when we're doing this, no flat fingers on the cutting board. Okay, no flat fingers on the cutting board. Okay, curl it up and put your thumb behind your four fingers. Your thumb should go back here. Okay, your thumb acts as it's pushing the vegetables forward. Okay, it's acting as it's like a mechanic lever, if you will. Okay, it's pushing the product forward, and your claw here. Okay, I like to use my middle finger knuckle as my gauge. Okay, your claw is kind of measuring for you as your thumb is pushing things forward. Okay, and if you keep your fingers like this, yeah, you may nick your knuckle once or twice, but you're not going to cut the tips of your finger off. All right, I hate talking about injuries. I don't like talking about it, but it's a reality, right? This isn't, I tell my students, this isn't Fisher Price. These are real tools. This is These are sharp knives. I've gotten students, you know, at the first day of class, they're taking their knives out, and we're already getting calls down to the office that we've got some cut fingers. So they're real knives. There's real flames. There's real fire. So safety is paramount. Safety is paramount. You do not want to cut yourself. You don't want to burn yourself. So the more you can practice being safe, right, the better your cuts are going to be in the long run, right? Because it's going to take confidence. If you're scared of the tools, if you're scared of the knife, it's not going to happen for you. Okay. All right. The first cut, if you guys are following along, I am going to start with the potato. Okay. I'm going to start with the potato. And if you need to peel your potato, please go right ahead and do that. I have already taken and I haven't with all my vegetables, just the potato, because I know I was starting with this. But I've taken the liberty of peeling my potato. So my potato, I'm using an A-size Yukon Gold potato. Okay, I've already peeled it, right? I've already peeled it, and I'll show you a nice little trick when I peel my carrot about how to keep your workstation a little bit cleaner. Out of the potato, okay, I'm going to show you what we call a parmentier. Okay, it's a French term that basically refers to a half-inch dice. Okay, a half-inch dice. I have this cool little gauge too over here that we like to give our students. It's a 3D model of all the knife cuts that we teach at school. So this just helps the student to you know, put their julienne up against this julienne, to put their carré or their parmentier or their mastodon or their brunoise up against a 3D model to help gauge it, to help measure it. If you're wondering, do I grade my students on the cuts themselves? The answer is yes. All right, that's what we do. Like if we're in a kitchen, we have to gauge you on your skills. And being a chef is you have to be of two minds, right? You have to know your theory. And people say, what's a chef? What's a cook? Well, a chef knows everything, right? You go to the chef to get answers. So we need to know that a parmentier is a half-inch dice, but you also need to know how to do it, right? You got to be a practitioner too. So we know it's a half-inch dice if you're taking notes at home, but now I have to show you how to cut a half-inch dice. Okay, so again, approaching my cutting board, the potato should be right in the center of the board. I'm going to use a close-up camera also when I get through these cuts. But when we're doing a dice, ladies and gentlemen, when we're doing a dice, think of three. You got to cut the vegetable 3 times. You've got to cut a plank. You've got to cut a baton. Then you cut your dice. Okay, there's no other way to get squared edges unless you cut a plank, a baton, and a dice. Okay. And safety, again, safety first. So I'm going to square the potato off. I'm going to take a little bit of potato and we're going to put that in our mashed potato or pomme robuchon bucket over here. And then I'm going to turn my potato on that flat side. Okay, I'm going to turn my potato on that flat side. Why? The potato is round. And what did I just say? Safety is paramount. I don't want the potato rolling around the board. All right. Rolling potatoes mean rolling fingertips. All right. Again, I'm full of these puns and fun things to say, but I promise you, you'll thank me. I'm going to take a little bit off also on this side just to start my plank. So I have a squared edge. Okay. So 1/2 of an inch. If you really want to break out a ruler, I have no problem with that. Some of our chef knives at school used to have a ruler on the knife. So I'd be like, all right, measure 1/2 of an inch. Okay. 1/2 of an inch is about the width of your index finger. Okay, so if you want to use a gauge, that first plank should be 1/2 of an inch wide. Okay, I've cut this too many times, so I'm going to cut straight down. Okay, the tip of the knife is going to hit the board, and I'm going to drop my knife. Okay, 1/2 of an inch plank. Okay, same thing. Use your gauge, your natural gauge over here. Tip of the knife goes in, knife goes straight down. Plank. Okay. Tip of the knife hits the board, knife goes straight down, plank. Be careful when you get over here, tip of the knife in, knife goes straight down, plank. I have a 1/2 inch plank left over also, okay? 1/2 inch planks, okay? 1/2 inch planks, very important. If you're skilled, go ahead and try to cut your batons out of 4 of these planks stacked on top of each other. If you're not skilled, do 1 at a time, okay? Again, I'm gonna sacrifice a little bit of my potato for my mashed potato bucket just to have a squared edge. And if I'm cutting 1/2 inch planks, I need 1/2 inch batons. Same measurement, 1/2 inch baton, down, 1/2 inch baton, in, down, 1/2 inch baton, in, down, 1/2 inch baton, in, down, okay? I'm gonna take that off, okay? 1/2 inch batons, beautiful steak fries, okay? You just cut yourself steak fries, all right? So to get my parmentier, I need my 3rd cut, right? And what's that? That's the dice. I'm gonna square these off. You're probably saying, Chef, you're wasting a lot of potato, but you know, we're gonna do something with that. So I'm gonna square these off, in and down, 1/2 inch, in, down, 1/2 inch, in, down, 1/2 inch, in and down, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, that is, you can't see it in my hand, I'm gonna do a close-up shot, but that's your parmentier, okay? And if I take my little gauge over here and I put my parmentier right on top of my little gauge, it's a perfect parmentier, okay? So it's a perfect 1/2 inch dice, okay? Perfectly squared off. So this is where would I use this? Chowder, right? That's a beautiful chowder cut, okay? I'm just gonna make myself a little pile of these so you can see them with the close-up camera. Okay, I'm gonna cut the rest of them for you. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. I need my batons, of course. Batons, okay. All right. 1/2 inch dice. Chowder potatoes. All right, beautiful home fries. All right, brown these off. Okay, I'm gonna make a little pile here. Liza's going to move the camera for me. Okay. Again, 1/2 inch dice. Okay, nice and squared off because I sacrificed a little bit of potato. I'm not gonna lie, there's some potato scrap in there, but you know, if I'm going to put this in chowder, again, perfect. Hold it in my hand. Perfect 1/2 inch dice. Okay. So that, my friends, I'm gonna go back to the main camera. Oh, we got a side by side. Look at us getting fancy. So I'm gonna put these aside. I have plans for this. Trust me, I'm gonna make some potatoes. I have plans for my potatoes. If you guys want to boil them and mash them for dinner, that's perfectly fine. You want to take all your dices and just brown them off in a pan, salt, pepper, and have yourself a little pan roasted potatoes. That's perfectly fine also. For the rest of my vegetable cuts, I'm going to make a little stir fry, and you're more than welcome to do that tomorrow too. I mean, obviously these cuts are going to stay nicely in the refrigerator. For your potatoes, however, I did have my potato in some cold water. I'm just going to add that water to my potatoes. Why am I doing that? I don't want the potatoes to oxidize. I don't want brown potatoes before I brown them. I'm using these beautiful Aravan containers. But I'm going to give my guy Matt Tetzner a shout out too. I do have Cambro over here too, bud. All right, I'm not dissing you. Cambro and Aravan. I like a good healthy competition in my kitchens. So all right, we're going to move on. Okay, and the next thing I'm gonna knock out. I'm gonna grab my carrot. Okay, and this time I'm actually going to show you on the vegetable peeler a nice little trick. A piece of paper towel. I'm going to put that on my cutting board. All right, vegetable scraps tend to get very sticky, like to stick to things. Okay, so I actually lay out a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to peel right on my paper towel and take my paper towel to the compost bucket. If you don't compost, you can go right into the trash can. When I'm peeling vegetables, right, carrots grow underground. I think it's best practice to wash the carrot first. Okay, we say wash, peel, and wash. I'm going to put the carrot down flat on the board or on the paper towel. Okay, I'm just going to use my vegetable peel, and I'm going to peel away from me. Okay, this is not how you peel a vegetable. Okay, you're going to catch your knuckles, you're going to catch your wrist. Okay, don't peel towards you, always peel away from you. Okay, if you got to flip the carrot over, you flip the carrot over. Okay, just like that. You flip the carrot over. All right, do not peel over a trash can. Why? If the carrot slips out of my hand, then that's it. It's in the trash can. So just like that. Now I have a clean cutting board. Okay, just going to get rid of my scraps.
Yeah. TJ, we have a question.
Sure.
About the potatoes. Can you refrigerate cut potatoes overnight in water?
Absolutely can. You absolutely can refrigerate potatoes overnight in cold water. Okay, you absolutely can. It's actually preferred. Like if I was making a chip, it's actually preferred to do it cold water overnight. It actually leaches out a lot of the starch, so you don't have a like have a soggy potato. It actually helps your if you're frying a potato chip. But yes, for this in particular application, absolutely you can refrigerate them overnight. Okay. Okay. So out of my carrot, okay, now that it's peeled, I'm going to do a julienne, a macédoine, and a brunoise. Okay, a julienne, a macédoine, and a brunoise. What is all that, Shay? Julienne, okay, is a matchstick cut. Okay, it's an 1/8 of an inch baton. Remember that word from our last cut. Okay, by 2 inches long. Okay, so it's a matchstick. A brunoise is an 1/8 of an inch dice. Okay, so if I cut planks into batons into dice, what can I cut out of a julienne? A brunoise. Okay, so I'm going to julienne the carrot, then I'm going to brunoise the carrot. Okay, a macédoine is a 1/4 of an inch dice. So I'm going to need 1/4 inch planks. I'm going to need 1/4 inch batons and 1/4 inch dice. Okay, so I need 3 cuts out of this. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my carrot into thirds and just stand them up over here. Okay, again, carrot is rounded on the side. So I'm gonna take a little bit of, I'm gonna take a little bit off just to flatten the carrot. Okay, I'm gonna start with, again, I'm gonna just to nice square side. 1/8 of an inch is a little bit tougher, right? Remember, 1/2 inch, 1/2 of a 1/2 inch is a 1/4, 1/2 of a 1/4 is an 1/8. So you're gonna have to get your, natural gauge over here a little bit tighter, okay? But the same rules apply. You go in and down, okay? Knife down, okay? A lot of the times people go straight down on the board, and that's why you're not getting a consistent 1/8 inch plank. You're getting a plank that tapers. It almost, you're cutting like a V shape out of it, all right? That's because you're going too fast. You got to control the knife. Again, sharp knife in and down, okay, in and down. And again, it's going to get a little suspect as you get to the end, and that's okay. You go as far as you feel comfortable going, okay? So these right here are 1/8 inch planks, okay? I'm going to take my 1/8 inch planks, okay, and I'm going to take about 4 of them. Okay. I'll show you that also in a second. But that's my julienne. Okay, I'll stand them up into the nice little toothpick looking cuts. Okay, that's my julienne. I'll continue some julienne. Again, planks into batons. Okay, these batons I don't need to go further with because I've already gotten my matchsticks. I've already gotten julienne. Okay, so for macédoine, square it off again. All right, take a little square here, and then I'm going to do 1/4 inch. Okay, 1/4 inch planks, 1/4 inch planks. Okay, I'll do one at a time for you. 1/4 inch baton, 1/4 inch baton, 1/4 inch baton, 1/4 inch baton. I'm going to take these batons, cut them into now, what's macédoine great for? I mean, a beef barley soup. I mean, that's a perfect soup cut. Chowder, when I was talking parmentier earlier, chowder, it's a little hardier of a soup. Think of your Rhode Island chowder, your Manhattan, or your New England chowder. It's hearty. If you get a big chunk of potato in there, a parmentier-sized potato, you're not going to be disappointed in that. You almost don't want little pieces. Okay, but if you're eating something a little bit more refined, like a minestrone, or even like a hearty chicken noodle, and you have carrot in there, you don't want your pieces too big, right? You want these to be, when I teach soups, or when I teach, in our stocks kitchen or in fundamentals, you want the cuts are important because you want them to be on the soup spoon. You don't want this big hunking piece of carrot that you can't get in your mouth from your bouillon spoon. Okay, so that's why we're doing this. We're doing this because that's how you refine your food. You refine your cooking by sharpening your skills. Okay, and I'm going to do this quick. This is the brunoise. You've already cut julienne, so if you don't want to cut this other piece of carrot, you don't have to. But I'd like to use my julienne to for my stir fry. So I'm going to actually cut brunoise so you can see it when I do this close up cut here, or this close up shot. Okay, so again, 1/8 inch planks, just like I did for julienne. So I'm actually going to cut julienne again. Okay, I'm actually going to cut julienne again for you out of these planks. And again, I'm going a little bit quicker on this one. Again, I'm pushing with my thumb. That's going to take some time. All right, guys, that's going to take some time. I'm going to put a little bit more julienne over here so I can do that in my stir fry. And I'm just going to take this little pile of julienne here. And again, just make a little tight bundle, okay? Little tight bundle, all right? And this is where I want to get a little bit closer. And it's okay to crouch down a little bit. I mean, we want to preserve our back as much as we can, but it's okay to get down a little bit so you can see what you're doing. I'm actually bundling the julienne with my fingers, just like that. Okay, again, keeping my fingertips out of it, but I'm bundling it so I can get, it's such a precision cut. It's such a small dice. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. And there's my brunoise. Okay, so I got mastodon, brunoise, julienne over here. I'm going to do a quick close up for you guys. Okay, so you can see how small the julienne is. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. Macedon, 1/4 of an inch. Again, I'll put all these cuts next to each other also. And then your matchsticks. Okay, and your matchsticks. Okay, that's your julienne. Your julienne turns into your brunoise. And that's your macedon, I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all 3 of these side by side so you can technically see the size difference. And a little, give me a brunoise. Okay, so that's going to give you a little better shot here. Okay, you got your brunoise, which is 1/8 inch dice, really small. And you got a 1/4 inch dice of carrot, that's macedon, and then your parmentier potato. Okay, and of course your julienne over there. All righty. So I'm going to put my julienne in this container here because I want to blanch and shock this. You don't have to do that at home because we didn't tell you we were going to do stir fry, but I don't want to waste this. Put my potato back here. Carrot scraps do not need water, okay, but they perfectly fine to keep overnight. Again, all that dice can be used in soup. Any of the scrap can be cooked and pureed beautifully. The scrap can also be used to make chicken broth, chicken stock. Okay, carrots, part of mirepoix, it's carrot, celery, and onion. So feel free to use that for your chicken stock. Okay, I have a sanitizer bucket, and I'm just going to do a quick wipe down on my board. Okay. Not that there was anything potentially hazardous, but just like to stay nice and clean. All right, we did that. Onions, quickly. Onion, the elusive onion. All right, what we're going to do with the onion, I'm going to fill this back up with some water. All right, we're going to dice the onion, okay? Can I say we're cutting a brunoise out of the onion? Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to cut a small 1/8 inch dice out of an onion, but an onion is round, it's globe shaped, so it's not going to particularly cut down. Like I can square off the potato, I can square off the carrot, I can square off kohlrabi or a rutabaga or something like that, or radish. This is globe shaped, so it's a little bit more difficult, but I will show you some tricks of the trade here when we're cleaning an onion. Okay, so I always always cut the onion in half first. Again, it's the safest thing to do. A lot of people will cut the top, the bottom of the onion off in its globe shape. All right, I always cut it in half. Okay, the more I can get a flat side, the better. Okay, I'm gonna take just a little bit of that top off, and I can use my paring knife. Okay, I'm gonna peel with my paring knife that first layer of skin right off. Okay, sometimes it just comes right off with your hand, but just peel that first layer of skin right off. And when I'm dicing an onion, you see I'm gonna leave the root on. Okay, you can see inside the onion how it grows underground. Okay, it starts as a little pearl and it starts to grow its layers, right? Peel back the layers of the onion. Starts to grow its layers until it's harvested, obviously. But you have that root end. That root end is actually holding the whole bulb together. Okay, so when you're dicing an onion, keep the root on. Okay, it will certainly save you from that onion kind of just collapsing on you. Okay, so the root actually helps you hold that onion together. And when there is, I mean, we always say there's 1,000 ways to cut an onion, but root end on, again, I'm approaching my cutting board. And if I'm looking for a brunoise or an 1/8 inch dice, I'm gonna start making cuts with the tip of my knife. Remember, we talked about the parts of the knife. I'm not gonna use the heel. I'm not gonna use that belly or the edge of the knife. I'm gonna use the tip of the knife, and I'm gonna go in the onion using my gauge here, making 1/8 inch strips through the onion 3/4 of the way through. I'm not going to cut all the way through because I need to kind of manipulate it a little bit further to get a dice. So 3/4 using my knife tip through the onion. Okay, just want to check on our, and then okay, through the onion 3 times. All right, then I'm going to hold it with my pinky and my thumb. I'm going to hold the onion together behind my gauging fingers. Okay, I'm going to hold the onion together behind my gauging fingers so the what I just sliced isn't going to balloon out. It's not going to fall apart on me. So I'm going to hold the bulb together, and then I'm going to come up off the board. Remember that rocking motion. I'm actually lifting my knife up off the board, guys. Okay, down, 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 down. Nice sharp knife. You're going to cry less with a sharp knife, I promise you. Okay, so that's how we dice an onion. Of course, we have this little piece left over here. Then we can take the root end off and do some manipulation to that to continue dicing it. All right, but it's important, keep the root on. It'll keep your onion together. Okay, if I'm julienning an onion, okay, I'm going to take the top and the bottom of the half bulb off. I'm going to do the same thing and peel that outside layer of skin off using my paring knife. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to cut. Don't cut against the grain. Okay, the grain of the onion runs like this. Don't cut against the grain. Okay, you see a lot of people cutting this way. All right, cut with the bowl, with the globe, with the grain of the onion. Okay, that sounds counterintuitive to how we would cut meat, but for the onion, I want to cut with the grain. Again, I'm lifting my knife off the board using my gauge, 1/8 inch slices. Okay, 1/8 inch slices. Being careful, we can go much slower. Okay, if we need to go slower, but this is what we call a julienne onion. Okay, that's going to be great for stir fry. This is going to be great for, and when I get to about this part, I flip the onion on that flat side, and I just can continue with gauging the 1/8 inch slice. Okay, gauging the 1/8 inch slice. Okay, so I have my diced onion and my julienne onion. Okay, I'm going to use this for my stir fry also, but this is the julienne onion is fantastic for French onion soup. Absolutely fantastic for French onion soup. I'm going to here, just like that. Okay, just going to do a quick wipe down. Then I'm going to do for you. I want to show you, I just don't want to run out of time completely. I have about 15, 20 minutes left. Okay. I definitely want to keep time for questions. Did Taylor did it? Julienne, fine. Concassé and Supreme. Okay. grab your Roma tomato and grab your orange, okay? I'm actually gonna change cutting boards because I had onion on this one. Probably should have told you to have some boiling water and ice water for blanching and shocking. That's okay. I will walk you through this process, okay? For the Roma tomato, take the tip of your paring knife and the opposite end, the tip of the Roma tomato, okay? I want you to make a small X incision, okay? Just a small X incision right at the tip of the Roma tomato. This is a technique we call blanching and shocking, okay? I'm going to then, this is going to slowly or quickly actually cook the tomato, pull the skin away from the flesh. And when I shock it, it's going to contract, okay? That's going to help me peel the skin back from those 4 kind of corners I just made with that X on the top of my tomato. So I have boiling water, okay? Just do this step when you have some boiling water. 45 seconds, okay? 45 seconds, I'm gonna count in my head. And as I'm doing that, I'm gonna start to peel this orange, okay? I'm gonna start to peel this orange and we're gonna cut supremes. This is important because nobody likes not nobody, but we don't care for that pith or that white part of the orange. And this is how you get the orange segments out with none of the pith, okay? About 45 seconds in the boiling water, all right? And then what I have is ice cubes, okay? Ice cubes and water. I have a slotted spoon. I took the tomato out of the boiling water right into that water bath. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm just going to take the opportunity to blanch my julienne carrots. Okay, blanching is in the ice or is in the hot water. Shocking, which stops the cooking process, in ice water. I want to blanch and shock these carrots because I'm going to do a stir fry with the onions, with the carrots, some garlic, and I'm going to cut up some bell peppers, julienne, some bell peppers also, and I'm going to do some stir fry just so I'm not, leaving this for another faculty member or, God forbid, wasting it. Okay, so supreme, we'll get back to the tomato in a second, but supremes of an orange. Okay, I want to take the top off the orange with my paring knife now, and the bottom. Okay, until you expose flesh. Okay, until you expose, you got to cut through the pith. Okay, and you need to expose some of that orange flesh. Okay, turn it on its flat side. Okay, one of the cut sides. Okay, and follow. You'll see orange, the zest. You'll see the white pith, and then you'll see the actual flesh of the orange. You want to get your paring knife in behind the pith and kind of work your way down, kind of around the globe. Okay, kind of around the prime meridian. You're following longitudinally. Okay, just follow it down. You're going to expose more flesh. Your next cut should be behind the pith also, and follow it down. So you want to expose, you want to get rid of the pith and expose nothing but orange flesh. Okay, turn it. Okay, same idea here. Bring it down, turn it, get behind the pith, follow the globe down. Okay, follow the longitude down around the globe. Okay, down and around the globe. And then your last cut down and around the globe. Okay, you have a little bit of pith here. You want to clean that off. Okay, so your orange should be completely peeled. Okay, no pith whatsoever. Okay, and I'm going to do a close-up shot of this also. Orange peels, we can save them. We can make orange cello. We can do, you can flavor orange sugars. You can do, the orange peel can go into your rice pudding and goodness, 1,000 other things. Okay, so you're going to see lines in the orange. You're going to see lines between the orange, the actual orange segments. Okay, you want to go in and down and make V cuts to release between those lines, those natural lines, and release what we call an orange supreme. Okay, one little orange supreme. You're going to follow clockwise, okay, around the orange, in and down through the natural. And then with my thumb, there's going to be this kind of spent or wasted, nothing's wasted, but this wasted section right here. We're gonna push that back with my thumb. So I'm working on a clean, fresh segment each time. Pull it back with my thumb, okay? A clean section each time. Pull it back with my thumb, down, down. Pull it back with my thumb, down, down. Okay, I'm just dumping them on my cutting board. Pull it back with my thumb, down and down. All right, pull it back with my thumb, down and down. Okay, pull it back with my thumb, down, down. One more, down and down. Don't be afraid. Squeeze this orange, okay? Do not waste that. There's a ton of juice in there. I'm going to do a little close up here of what those orange segments should look like, okay? No pith whatsoever. All right, great garnish for all your dessert plates. All right, so if you're looking for orange supremes, there you go. I'm gonna put this aside. That's gonna be my snack for after we get off the call. Do one more quick wipe down. I'm gonna show you the concasse of tomato. I need to take my carrots out of this water over here. Okay, wipe this down. Okay, again, we're using these big French terms, but just please do not let them intimidate you. And you don't necessarily have to use the French terms. You can just say it's a peeled and diced tomato, or it's a 1/4 inch of dice of a carrot, or it's a matchstick cut of a carrot. All right. I'll tell you what, if you have a dinner party and you start busting out French terms, you're going to start impressing people. They're going to want to come back to your house. Again, there's so many tools that you can, like, I'm thinking of a mandolin right now, which is a French mandolin, which will help you tremendously. Cut julienne, okay. But again, I think a good chef is the test of the chef, and the mark of a good chef is what they can do with their hands. It's kind of why we pay, $30-something an entree in a lot of restaurants. Okay, so blanching in boiling water, the Roma tomato, and then I shocked it in ice water, and you can see the skin at the top of the tomato is starting to kind of peel away. So I have my paring knife, and a lot of the times we use the paring knife in this capacity, right? If I'm peeling the skin off the onion, or if I'm peeling the skin back from the Roma tomato. Okay, so I'm going to use that, again, that X incision, and I'm going to peel the skin right. I should come right off. Okay, no more than 45 seconds. If you go more than 45 seconds into like a minute and a half, the tomato itself starts to cook, guys. Okay, and it gets really grainy. It gets almost mushy, and then you don't get a good concasse out of it. Okay, so you can actually see the skin hanging off that tomato. All right, and this is how my family growing up, and I'm sure Liza and Matt Tetzner on the phone too. With Italian backgrounds, this is what we did. We go outside, we go to the tomato plants, and we pick them, of course, and then we sit down with our grandparents and steam them or peel them. This is what processing companies do too at Hunt's or Cento or Cento. That's what they do. They're basically steaming the skin off the tomato, and then this is what we bottle. This is what we can. We put these in the mason jars. So we have sauce and tomato sauce all year round. So this is peeled. So that's what concasse is. So that process is actually called monder, to peel the potato or the tomato, excuse me. And then to basically cutting the tomato in half. Okay, cutting that half and half again. Okay, is what I like to do, just to be safe. And then I like to take the rib out, or take the seed capsule off the tomato. So I just have this flesh petal of the tomato. I just have the flesh petal with no seed. And then with my paring knife, I just make a rough dice. Okay, make a rough dice of the tomato. What can the concasse go into? Oh my goodness, so many things. Tomato relish, tomato jam. Again, I want to take the rib out of this tomato here. Salads, like a vegan or vegetarian tartare. You can make a tomato tartare out of this. So many applications. I think my mom used to love to do like a bruschetta, or a grilled bread, right? A crostini, a grilled bread. She would take the concassate tomato, some garlic, some basil, some olive oil, a little balsamic vinegar, and she'd make a bruschetta topping, which was absolutely delicious. Okay, obviously this could go into pasta. This could go into. I'm going to do a little close-up shot of the concassate also for you guys. That could go into your pasta. That could go as a pizza topping, right? It could obviously go into your into a soup. Okay, again, I'm thinking beef and barley, something that's nice, or a minestrone, something that's nice diced tomato in. Again, it's still kind of raw. It's not a cooked tomato. We only use that cooking process to release the skin from the Roma tomato. Can you mondaire and concassate globe tomatoes? Absolutely, absolutely. I just like the Roma. I think it's a sweeter, it's a sweeter tomato. It's a little bit more easier to manage and smaller. Okay, so quick. I know we're kind of getting to that witching hour where we want to get into some questions, guys, and I certainly want to do that. I have some. I want to put this in my stir fry. Okay, I just have some Napa cabbage leaves. Okay, and there's another French cut that we call chiffonade. You probably heard chiffonade, 100 times before. Chiffonade basil, chiffonade romaine. If it's a terrible analog or analogy, but if you go to Jersey Mike's and you get in a sandwich, they use the meat slicer. They're basically chiffonading the iceberg lettuce that people in Jersey love to put on their submarine sandwiches. I'm just right over the bridge in Delaware, so I can kind of claim Jersey a little bit. But so the definition of a chiffonade is a ribbon cut of a leafy vegetable. Okay, I love Swiss chard. When Swiss chard's in season, I love to chiffonade, saute with garlic. Okay, so I'm just going to chiffonade some of this cabbage because that's going to look nice and taste really good in my stir fry. Okay, so you just roll it up like like a cigar. I mean, I guess there's no other real good analogy. Just roll it up into a nice the roll, and then turn it on its side, and again cut kind of against the grain using the rocking motion. I'd say a little less than 1/8 of an inch. So again, this is where I'm using my thumb to push and my fingers to gauge. Okay, and this is what we call the chiffonade. Okay, and I'll show you that as I kind of run my fingers through it. Okay, so that's the chiffonade of Napa cabbage. Okay, it's a ribbon cut of a leafy vegetable. Very, very simple. Ribbon cut of a leafy vegetable. I thought that was important to show you. Okay. Put this over here. That's going to go in my stir fry with my julienne carrots. That's going to be delicious. I've got my julienne onions for my stir fry. I'm going to throw some tomatoes in my stir fry. Onions, carrots. This stuff we're going to save. Got my carrots right here, blanched and shocked. Okay, they're going to go in my bowl with my cabbage. I've got some just a quick run through of the stir fry ingredients. That's what I wanted to do. One more thing to show you. Just a quick run through. Garlic. I'm going to show you quickly how to mince garlic. This is very, very simple. Then I have my onion. I got my concassate tomato. I got my blanched and shocked julienne carrot, and I have my chiffonade of cabbage. Okay, I have some chicken that I've already kind of did 2 8-ounce chicken breasts. Clean them, no fat, on the bias, really thin 1/4-inch slices. Okay, in a hot pan, a little bit of oil, and just a touch of salt on the chicken. Seared it off nicely. Okay, and I have a clean pan. I'm going to start with garlic, onion, the carrot, the cabbage, and then finish with tomato. Stir fry. Okay, it doesn't have to be in a wok, right? We love using a wok only because we can actually use the utensils and do a traditional stir fry. I'm just using a saute pan over here. Okay, medium high heat. Okay, you want to hear it. Okay, you want to hear that nice sear and saute of the vegetables. Get everything seasoned with a little bit of salt. Okay, so it's nice and tender. Okay, fold your chicken back in, and then for my stir fry sauce, it's soy, tamari soy sauce, a little bit, so in about 1 cup, about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, excuse me, a little bit of blue agave nectar, as a matter of fact, or you can use brown sugar, sweeten it up just a touch, and a little bit of cornstarch. And what that cornstarch is, you're actually making a slurry with the soy, and you're going to kind of just ladle that into the stir fry as everything's nice and hot and tossed together. It should coat it, because of the starch, should coat your stir fry vegetables and your chicken nicely. Then it has some toasted sesame seeds right over the top. Very, very simple. That could be dinner tonight. That could be dinner tomorrow night. I know I am kind of getting to that hour quickly. All right. So you have your whole head of garlic. Okay. Fantastic. We love that. Garlic is one of my favorite ingredients. Can't cook without it. Okay. If I put it this side down on the cutting board and I press on the root, okay, flat on my cutting board, and I press down on the root, it's going to, nicely break out all of my little cloves. Okay. It's going to break out all of my little cloves of garlic. So we call that the bulb, the garlic bulb. And these are what we call the garlic cloves. Okay. I don't know if there's misconceptions or misnomers, but I like to lay the garlic down on the board. I like to take my knife and just give it a nice tap. Okay. Until you break that skin. Okay. And then the garlic clove and the skin should separate very, very easily. Okay. I'm going to do that one more time. It's a nice tap on the knife. Be very careful. And that skin should come off just like that. You have a peeled garlic clove. Okay. Where the root, the clove meets the actual root of the garlic bulb. I want to get rid of that. There's a germ inside of here that, if you look into some books like The French Laundry, or Return to Cooking, you'll see Eric Ripert and all these other Thomas Keller, Michelin starred chefs. They like to get rid of the germ that's inside. It's actually this little green, so it would actually be the scape, or what actually grows out of the garlic that would actually go to bloom. Okay, so they like to remove that. It doesn't necessarily bother me, especially when I'm cooking at home. So I just take that root end off, and then I just run my knife through it. Just rough chop. Okay, this is what we call rough chop. Again, being careful, and always coming back to the center. Bring it all back to the center, and then run my knife through it again. Okay. Bring it back to the center. Run my knife through it again. Okay. Clean it. Bring it back to the center. Run my knife through it again. Okay. And the more times you do that passing, then you can start this rocking motion here. Okay. You've probably seen this done before. Be very careful. You keep your fingers out of the way. Okay. Just remember to bring it all back to the middle. You may have seen people add a little bit of salt to this phase, a little bit of kosher salt that helps with just kind of an abrasiveness. Okay. It helps to kind of mince the garlic down. When you get to these smaller sizes, you can use the side of your knife. Okay. And you can press the garlic into the cutting board. Okay. Releases a lot of the volatile oils. Okay. And a lot of the, those aromas that we attribute to garlic, and to that allium aroma. Allium being, garlic, shallot, onion, leek, green onion, scallion. Okay. The onion family. Again, it's going to start to release the oils, a lot of its own natural waters. Okay. And it's going to get wet. You're going to actually see this get a little bit more wet, and a little bit more manageable. Okay. And kind of come together in a little bit of a paste form. Okay. And that's what we would call minced garlic. Okay. That's what we would call minced garlic. I'm going to kind of combine the minced garlic with my onions, because that's the first thing. A lot of cuisine, this would be kind of a base to a lot of Italian dishes. You'll see garlic and onion bases called sofrito in a lot of South American, Puerto Rican cuisine. So I'm going to add that there. I'm going to start my stir fry with my garlic and my onions. Again, go in with the blanched and shocked julienne carrots, the cabbage, finish with a little bit of tomato, then again, fold in my chicken. We're going to go from there. I think I got through all the vegetables. I do have a bell pepper down here. I keep saying I'm going to stop. I know I said that. But quickly, when I'm taking the side off of a bell pepper, obviously you're going to see the seeds and all of these ribs inside the pepper. A lot of that white pith is kind of unpleasant on the palate. Okay, it's a little bitter. Okay, so what I like to do is kind of fillet it out. So I lay I guess you can call this again a fillet or a petal of the bell pepper. I like to lay it flat. I don't like to do the whole rolling of the bell pepper. I prefer to cut the sides, cut the four sides off, and deal with the bottom and a little bit around the stem as I see fit in a dice capacity. But I'm really looking for a nice julienne bell pepper. I want a flat petal or flat side. I just, with a sharp knife, I just like to go in and get that it's a little bit more than I wanted, but I'll just get a little bit of that that white bitter pith off of the pepper itself until I'm left with something that's nice and bright. Okay, and in that I can then approach the board just like anything else, and using now knowing my gauge and my mechanical arm back here, I can use the same technique I'm using with everything else, guys, and cut what we would say is a julienne of bell pepper. Okay, julienne of bell pepper. That's going to go in my stir fry. All right, so I'm going to cut one more side just so I have it nice colors. I'm going to take that white pith out for me, just like that, and quick. Okay, that'll round out my stir fry. All right, so we are a little bit over 7 o'clock here, and I said I wanted to open it up to some questions. So as I clean up just a touch here, does anyone have any questions? Again, I wish I had this magic wand where I could make us all proficient on the cutting board, but I think with those tips, and I think if you can approach the board again safely and confidently, the skills will come, right? If you're timid, it's going to be tough to break out of that. Okay, so confidence and safety, I think you can really bolster and improve your knife skills.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Yeah.
If we don't have any questions, I would like to introduce Lori Zabata, Director of Alumni Relations, to close us out.
Thanks, Liza. Thank you so much, Chef Deladon, for such a great session. We're so grateful to you for sharing your time with us and appreciate all that you've taught us tonight. Especially me, I am very timid around the knives, and I followed along and did not cut myself, so I consider that a win. So thank you. Thanks to all of our alumni in attendance tonight. Please be on the lookout for an email in the next few days containing a survey to collect your feedback on this program. Additionally, your registration for this event did include a gift to the College of Food Innovation and Technology, which will go to work immediately to directly support our students and educators. With CFIT, JWU is building upon our reputation as a global leader in culinary education. And your gift will help our students explore the ways food impacts people, communities, and economies, and develop practical solutions. And as an alumni donor, you also contribute to the growth of JWU's reputation, which does increase the value of your own JWU degree. Thank you again for your support. Lastly, thanks to a generous donation from Noah Rosen, class of 2019, and his company Forge to Table, one of you will receive a chef's knife. We'll select the winner at random tomorrow, and we'll be in touch with more details. I wish you all great luck. For the listing of upcoming events, please visit the alumni event calendar at alumni.jwu.edu. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for joining. Thanks, Chef. Good night, everyone. Happy cutting and happy cooking.